of the morning. Hey, man, listen, you're locked into WMPR 90.1 100,000 watt station. Special edition of Critical Conversations brought to you, hey, man, by Socrates, Gary, Dwayne Pickett, and your host as well, Napoleon Edwards. And it's Sunday, people. A great, great weekend it has been up until about midnight or something last night. And I'm telling you, people, it's hey, man, it's starting to be redundant. And I'm telling you, a triple homicide in the capital city last night. All of the victims in their early 20s, and all of the victims African American. And just a wonderful weekend up until then. I mean, just a wonderful weekend up until then. And it just didn't happen here in Jackson. A shooting on campus at Grambling University that proved to be fatal. And I don't want to march. I don't want no prayer. I don't even want no rallies. I don't want no round table discussions. I don't want no talking about holistic policing, community policing. I don't want to hear nothing about more policing. I don't want to hear nothing about racial discrimination and systematic racism. I don't want to hear none of that. I only want action from African Americans to stop killing other African Americans. I don't want to hear all of this kumbaya talk. I don't want no prayer. I don't want no preachers and pastors getting together and talking about we need to pray more. No, you need to teach more. You need to give more. You need to get out of your car and your recliner and walk the streets more. Because it's clearly, people, there's something wrong with African American people, especially our young people. There's an anger problem. There is a inability to come to conflict resolution conditions. When you got African American kids, because that's what they are, carrying weapons that were designed for mass destruction in urban poverty-stricken communities, without any education, without any hope, without any positive role models, when older people are endorsing the foolishness as well. You can't. You got to come. You can't. There's no such thing as solution to that. The only fix is not a solution. It's a fix. And it is, number one, strong. You're gonna have to be very violent in your judicial system. The African American judicial system has allowed for this type of behavior to be accepted against other African Americans. If a white person came and created the havoc in our neighborhoods that African Americans are creating, we would consider that white person a terrorist. And it would be considered a hate crime just based on color. Well, I can tell you what, people. I consider it a hate crime when we lose 3 African American children in a nightclub because some other African American child refused knowledge. They refused education. They refused the chance to be great. They refused the opportunity to live and matriculate even through the struggles of life and overcome them. And they chose to bear weapons. They chose to bear arms and to take the lives of other African American children. That's hate. I don't know nothing else. I don't know why it shouldn't be considered a hate crime. I don't understand why African Americans can rain terror on other African Americans and not be considered terrorists themselves. I mean, this, and I'm just, you know, I don't want to see. I'm gonna tell you now, Ken Stokes, please don't go hold no press conference about the crime that happened in your ward last night, knowing that you really don't care and that you have not done anything as long as you've been a councilman to correct the plight and the disparity that matriculates throughout that whole ward. And so please, I would ask you under these conditions, don't go give that press conference. African American people, don't buy into that foolishness. Listen, people, we lost 3 children last night. And if that is not enough to stir your soul, if that is not enough for you to be angry and upset, and is that not enough to cause you to the table and say, what is wrong with us? Why are kids so mad? Why are they so lost? Why are they so non-purpose driven? Why can the African American boy carry a gun but don't know how to change a tire? Can carry a gun but can't fill out an application? Can carry a gun but don't even know the words out of the dictionary? And then you got to ask the question, what makes that attractive to an African-American woman? And then also, what parent allows it? What kind of parent are you to allow it? People, we got real issues. We got real issues going on in this capital city, and I'm telling you, you should be furious. Listen to me. It should not be business as usual as of today. That puts us right at around 121 homicides. 22-year-old African-American female, 25-year-old African-American female, and a 20-year-old male, to my understanding. Dead. All at one location. Not by some white man with a hood on waving a flag. Not by some neo-Nazi, messed up ideology thinking skinhead white boy. Not by some crazy, unrealistic Republican. But they were slayed in the heart of their own communities by some African-American male who looked like them, who possibly dressed like them, who possibly went to school with them, who possibly parents and financial situations are identical to theirs. Their greatest threat to their quality of life was another African American in the same situation that they were in. People, I don't think you get it. I don't think this city gets it. I don't think this world gets it. And it's happening all across America. where there is a large ideology, a large liberal agenda being pressed and pushed in the African American community. And the direct correlations for each one of those agendas and those ideas are high crime, poverty, high HIV, STD rates, a high percentage. Watch this. And I know this is going to make some people uncomfortable. A high percentage of homosexual activity as well. All bearing burden on the African American community. So watch this. So internal issues in the African American community that none of us can deny are attacking the African American community like a virus would attack the body. All right? So this is what the African American community is faced with. Number one, they're faced with low wages. All right? And that's why it's so important that when African American communities have a chance to employ African American companies, that they make that happen. All right? Because the economic disparity that is there, we can't deny that. But it's not up to anybody else to fix it. It's not up to Congress to fix the economic disparity for African American people. It's not up to the House, or it's not up to legislation in the Senate or anywhere else to fix that for us. That's up to us, black people. We are looking to government, and we're looking to people to do what we're supposed to do for ourselves. So we got to fix that. That's an internal problem. That's a virus. And if you had a virus in your body, you might go to the doctor, and the doctor tell you take so-and-so. Well, watch this. He can only tell you to take it. Once you get the prescription, it's up to you to do what? Take it. Well, guess what? It's the same way in the African American community. If we're going to fix the economic disparity, it's up to us. We don't need Congress to tell us that we know we are economically disparate. We don't need that. We don't need another town hall meeting to explain that. We already know that. We came here like that. We worked under the briar of someone else's oppressing us. We already know that. Now it's up to us to do something about it. You can't keep crying that 70 years, 80 years, 100 years later. Oh, economic disparity, that's the problem. We've been knowing that's the problem, so fix it. You got a prescription? Fix it. Well, what's the prescription, teacher? The prescription is do business with black businesses. Quit spending your money among white folks who don't spend money back among you. And then somebody says, well, black businesses don't do good business. Well, hold them accountable when they don't do good business. Go to them and tell them. Encourage them on what they need to do to make their business better. That's what you do when you go to McDonald's. McDonald's mess your order up. You don't stop going. You might change location. You might not go to the one on Hanging Moss, but you still go to the one on Atkins. You keep going to McDonald's, black people. So you begin, and we told you that the other night. The black dollar only remains in his community 3 hours. 3 to 6 hours is the longest it remains in the community. You will never fix economic disparity if you have people like Councilman Banks and Councilman Hartley that shoot down black contractors. You will never fix economic disparity if you continue to let Iranians and Indians come into your neighborhood and open up gas stations that sell you bad food and cheap gas and a whole bunch of paraphernalia to further help reduce your quality of life. You will never fix economic disparity. You will never fix economic disparity if you continue to let people like Dr. Green come into your community and close down the very institutions of academic learning, which are our schools, where our young people should be learning STEM and all other type of research, so that they can be effective in this society. We know that the greatest chance of a black child making it to the NFL is 1 in 100,000. And so with that being known, we shouldn't just be banking on sports. We should be having institutions and high schools and junior high schools that are preparing our children for doctor jobs and engineering jobs and trade schools, that those who are not athletically built and sound can still have a chance to be great in this great country of the United States of America Corporation. But instead, we sit in silence while 8 schools are being closed down in our community. We don't say a word. We don't mention nothing. We don't go to a school board meeting. We don't ask for the school board, board of trustees to come and make themselves known before this community. That could never happen in the white community. That would never happen in Madison, that you close down 8 schools and the citizens of Madison County, the white parents of Madison County, don't call a rally and ask and demand why. That would never happen. And so when you begin to try to compare yourself to other people and say, well, so-and-so this or so-and-so that, ask yourself, why do all the bad things seem to happen to black people? Why do all the bad things seem to happen to us? Why do our neighborhoods look the worst? Why do our schools look the worst? Why do our communities look? We can't even keep a zoo open. Black people, ask yourself those questions. Ask yourself those questions today. 2021, the zoo is on the black side of town, ran by a black council member, sitting in a black ward. And look at it. Just look at it. Ask yourself the question, black people. Why is it that we are the only ones that everything around us look bad? I was looking at the parade yesterday, homecoming parade. Jim Hill High School did good, man. I want to commend the Jim Hill High School marching band. I thought you were one of the many bands that I saw performing. I think y'all did a wonderful job. I like the way y'all sound. I like the way y'all was marching and looking proudful to be in the parade. And I want Jim Hill to know that I said something yesterday on live, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get some people to help me do it. We go buy 2 tubas for Jim Hill, and we go buy 2 bass drums for the Jim Hill marching band. Now, I didn't go to Jim Hill, but I noticed yesterday that their band equipment had weathered some storms. And I'm just the type of person that believes that if our young people are taking the time out to practice, they go into band practice, they show up for the parade, they put on them uniforms, and they go out there and march for mama and daddy and them, y'all want to see them march. I believe then they ought to have the best equipment when they're performing. Now I noticed 2 of the tubas from Jim Hill looked at a little weather. And I don't know how much a tuba costs. I don't know how much a bass drum costs. But I'm gonna be actively seeking to find a way to purchase Jim Hill High School 2 new tubas and 2 new bass drums. They deserve it. They deserve it. Now all of y'all that graduated from Jim Hill, y'all should be alumni, and everybody else should be coming together. That's an easy task, community. That's an easy task for us to do. And the call-in line is open, 601-948-5950. That's an easy task for this community to do. Purchase 2 tubas and 2 bass drums for Jim Hill High School. I believe this platform and my friends can do that. And I'm going to make sure that we do it, and it ain't going to be long. Hopefully we'll try to do it before Christmas, so that after the Christmas break, they will have them, and going into the next band season or however, that they'll have those devices. So that's 2 tubas and 2 bass drums No way our children should be walking down the street with that equipment looking like that. Now, them our children. Them are African American children. Them are our children in this community marching in these high school bands. That's unacceptable, black people. It's just bottom line is just unacceptable, and we're not gonna tolerate that in this community. So yeah, let's make sure that we're gonna make that happen for this school. Listen, outside the murders that we had at Club Rain last night, which we are still working to find out further details, what I have from my sources are the 3 homicides as well as multiple other people possibly injured, okay? And JPD is waiting to release a statement. And we were on that story for you early this morning. But let's talk a little bit about the economic impact that African American people had on the city this weekend. All right, I want to shift a little bit. And people, when I tell you outside those homicides, we ought to be proud. Listen to me. Outside those homicides, I'm telling you, the city of Jackson, you listen to African American people, and as hard as I am on us, that shows what we are made of. 50, I want to say 54, I've got several different numbers. 54,178 is one number I got. I got another number from a friend that says they graduated from Jackson State, they played in that field, they looked in that audience. He says, listen, Polo, I'm going to tell you it was 60,000 in there. They're downsizing us. And I have another number that someone posted said 53,278. So anyway, so it's safe to say that we were 50,000 to 60,000 strong in Mississippi Veteran Memorial Stadium yesterday. Now let me show you something, how important that is. African American people, if you can pack that stadium out for a homecoming, and there's probably not been that many people in that stadium since Jerry Rice and Willie World Totten and the big showdown up there between Valley and Alcorn, when it was 66,000 in there, standing room only. It probably has not been that many individuals in that stadium of African American descent at one time. The football game yesterday and the bodies that came to this city to experience JSU homecoming, to experience the installation of the new president, Dr. Hudson, to experience the festivities of a weekend that was geared and catered toward a historical black university. That alone is the sign of the time. We came out. Black people came. They drove. They flew. They spent money. They booked rooms. They ate. They bought. They wined. They dined. They created an economic wind flow into this city over the weekend. And outside the African American nightclubs, you got to begin to ask yourself, how much more of that money did we retain? How much more of that money? As much money as the African American versus, and you had a person like Clay Edwards try to criticize downtown being blocked off and having a block party in front of the King Edwards, when the African American community came to Jackson, Mississippi this weekend and put their monies into this city, gave it a monetary steroid shot, and probably impacted it more than any other ethnic group of people that were coming to the city now between now and the end of the year. And I'm willing to put that on the record. What other events have we had since January of last year that have brought the type of economic impact into the city of Jackson as the JSU homecoming did on this past week? I don't think you can find another event outside of the Mississippi State Fair, which you can't really say, because that's a yearly event and you can't compare it to a HBCU homecoming event. But I guarantee you there's no concert or anything else, and I'm going somewhere with this, people. So now you begin to ask yourself, okay, wow, black people really did that in Jackson. African American folks really came to Jackson, Mississippi, and spent money and brought an environment and a vibe to your city that will probably go down in the history books. It was Deion's first homecoming. JSU won. Historical moment for installation of the president of JSU, a homegrown Jackson, Mississippi boy, educated in JPS, graduated from Jackson State. I mean, everything lined up this week. Everything lined up for African American people to put their stamp of approval on the power that we have economically. The fact that we love entertainment. We love entertainment. And that we turn your collar down for me, Unc.
It's the radio station.
This me, Unc. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Go ahead. How you doing, man? Happy birthday again.
Well, that's the reason I called you, because I wanted to make sure you know that we had one fantastic best birthday celebration, and but I want to talk about it in terms of economics and what you're talking about, and so that we understand how important it is to put money in our community and make those dollars turn over. Now, I had a birthday celebration that lasted for a couple of days, but we were able to put $20,000 in black folks' hands in terms of the food preparation, the bands, the decorators, all of those things that go on with that. And if that $20,000 will turn over 7 times in our community like it does in the Jewish community, then you're talking about over $140,000. And that's the way we got to start thinking, and that's what you're saying and preaching. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate what you're doing. I'm listening to you. And economic empowerment is about everything in this community. We got to do it at every level.
At every level.
At every level, we got to make a conscious effort to make those dollars turn over in our community and raise our citizens up with our economic power. I just wanted to say that, and I appreciate you coming to the party.
Man,
it was a great
listen,
occasion.
I enjoyed the party, man. Listen, I told the radio listening audience yesterday, you know, me and you have always been good friends. I've always admired you and thought the world of you, and your whole entire family, everybody. But after the other day, I told the radio land, man, listen, ain't nothing. Listen, man, that's a different type of vibe, brother. I am so proud to be your friend. I'm so proud that we can have honest conversation, that we can hold each other accountable. You demand the best out of me. Even though you are my senior, you demand it. You deserve it. The relationships that we have should be it should be mutual throughout our communities, because it's older men like yourself that us younger men have to learn from. And there's been many times where I believe you let me go the wrong way, knowing that I had the capability of coming back. And I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you and the whole thing that your family did for you. Your brother, Coleman Garrett, should be recognized 45 years as a black defense attorney, looking out for black young men in this community, then trying to keep them out of the penitentiary. Once they're in there, and when they get back out, directing them over to you because they didn't have a chance at life. Those stories need to be told. They need to be relived in our community. Hey, man, I just want to tell you, I'm proud, bro. I'm proud to be your friend. Thank God for you, man.
Well, thank you for being there. Shout out to Bishop Crudup. And
yes, sir. Big shout out to Bishop Crudup.
Well.
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, when you can bring pastors together at an event, then you're beginning to bring your community together. Pastor Hull out of Clarksdale was there. Pastor Pickett was there. Pastor Crudup was there. And so when you begin to bring our leaders together, Polo, then we can start having that honest dialogue about what's got to happen. So next month, Polo, there is an economic accountability summit being planned right there at New Horizon that's designed to bring all of the leaders of economic engines into the room to have an honest dialogue about what we got to do to empower our community. Now, this is only happening because you've been out there beating this drum at a rate and a speed that it couldn't be ignored. So as you beat that drum, then our leaders must pay attention and must come to the table. And I want you to keep up the good work you're doing. I know how hard it is to be on this radio 7 days a week. And I know how hard it is, to be prepared, have the information, have the statistics and the knowledge. It's not easy. So I appreciate the job that you're doing, my friend, and take good care.
Yes, sir, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for trusting me, man. I appreciate you, and we'll talk.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Listen, Mr. Socrates Garrett, man, one of the sponsors of this show, 75 years old this weekend. And people, I'm telling you, that event that he had Friday and Saturday night, Friday night I'm telling you, people, those are the type of events and those are the type of people you need to be around. You need to hear, you need to see, you need to experience, and you need to put yourself around folks that are doing things that can help you, your family, and your community. Black folks, we listen, it is the fourth quarter. I don't know how much I can stress this to us. It is the fourth quarter. I know I will try to patch that other caller in. Caller, you can call back. It's the fourth quarter. And if the African-American community does not answer this call, and I'm telling you, hey, man, you talking about 2025 and all that, man, you gonna be so far behind the bus and bagged up, you ain't gonna have a chance in 2025. If you don't fix what's wrong with us in 2021, working now, going into 2022, and having it in place, having economic empowerment, moral and the moral compass and code for the African American community, the pendulum must swing back to the right. We must become more conservative in our thoughts, in our dealings. African American people must begin to be tough on crime. When African American young men commit heinous crimes in our community, we must handle them in such a way that it scares other African American families from birthing or even having children that would do such heinous acts. That has to be the sign of African American people. You can't raise no nation up being easy with crime. You can't raise up no nation of black people being easy with poverty. You can't raise up no nation of black people being lazy or fair about education. You had a person running for sheriff the other day that had the audacity to say education is not important. Man, we can't do this in this African American community when we have the very leaders that are out in front getting all the airtime, getting all the talk time on the radio, and their message is diluted with hypocrisy. It's diluted with straight hypocrisy. And I'm thankful that we have the funding, we have the platform, we have people like 90.1, Juan Evans and Mr. Sherry and the whole staff over here. We got We Believe Digital Podcast Network that is about to get bigger. That we can get a clear-cut message out to this community. Real truth, real honesty. You had the mayor of this city to call in on Thursday, I think it was, and talk for 30 minutes on talk radio, giving you the 411 about what really happened. Where else do you get that at? He wasn't interrupted. It wasn't no trick questions. None of you got raw, uncut information from the mayor himself. Right here on this platform. People there's some folks that have, I'm telling you, have literally taken a stance against providing you quality information so that you can be as good as you need to be. As good as you need to be. Last night I was talking to Pastor Pickett on the phone, and I share this with y'all. Man, we sitting up figuring out how to help our community that have mental illnesses. Now we know that there are mental illnesses in this African American community. And we know that many people will not acknowledge the fact that they have a mental illness. They won't even go and sit down with a counselor to find out, you might not have a mental illness. You might just need somebody to talk to and to address you on why some of the ways you feel, your behavior is detrimental to others around you. You just might need that conversation with somebody. But what me and him come to understand is that you got people that's not willing to even do that. They're not even willing to go and seek the help, even if the help was available. So then you gotta start saying, well, okay, so it's a person out there that has a problem. They know they got a problem. They're not seeking help for the problem, but they even know they got a problem. It now becomes your civic-minded problem to find a way to get them to the help they need. See, I'm telling y'all don't get how deep that's your duty. If you know somebody has a problem and they're not getting the help for the problem that they have, it now becomes your civic problem to help get them to the help that they need. That's your duty. Go ahead, caller, you on there. That's listen. And when you begin to understand that, people, when you begin, and let me show you how, and I know some of y'all gonna take this the wrong way, but let me tell you, like, there are certain neighborhoods in White Jackson, and I'm gonna say it like this, where if you were to move in that neighborhood, they probably wouldn't say nothing. Let you move in. And a couple of days went by, and they didn't see you again, or they didn't see your children outside playing. Out of the civic mentality that is bred into the Caucasian community, I want y'all to get this. That white community, that neighbor across the street, because they've been watching you ever since you moved in there, they would either make a call to the police or they would call somebody else in the neighborhood, so they say, well, so-and-so and them that just moved in, they moved in, but I haven't seen them in. Now, some of y'all would be considering that nosy, but I'm going to show you something. Because of the civic-minded commitment that they have to their communities, they gonna say something. They gonna say something. They go, now in the African American community, somebody move in, you sit there and watch them move in, you don't see them for 2-3 more days, a week go by, you won't say nothing. Because in the African American community, the civic duty and the civic mentality is mind your business. But watch this. The thought of minding your business literally makes your community have no business. Look around. Look at the businesses that leave your community from minding your business. Look at the opportunities that leave your community from minding your business. Look at the schools that close in your community from minding your business. So in one side of town where the civic minded duty and mentality is, if I see something, I say something. Because this has been ingrained, this has been bred into me from a child, as a white child growing up, it's been bred in me. My civic duty in my community is to see something, say something. And on the other side of town, the civic duty in the African American community has been to mind your business. You see something, you don't say something. You don't say nothing. And so now you have, what you have here is one side of town that understands and has been ingrained with the democracy and the conservative ideas to maintain the level of my neighborhood by being civically nosy, as y'all would call it. And then you had the African American community that says, well, this is my neighborhood, I don't want you over here. Well, I don't want nothing else over here either. So I'm gonna mind my business. I don't want no businesses over here. I don't want no schools over here. I don't want no grocery stores over here. So I'm just gonna choke everything out by minding my business, by not saying nothing, by living in silence. You see kids go hungry every day. You see wives being abused on your street every day. You don't say nothing. You minding your business. Your council member ain't been to your neighborhood, ain't surveyed your street, ain't did nothing. You don't call council, you minding your business. Schools closed in your neighborhood, you don't say nothing. You minding your business. All throughout the African American community, folks are minding their business. And businesses are leaving your city. The only business popping up is check for cash, payday lenders, title for loan, pawn shops. I mean, people, when do you get it? When do you people get it? When does it click in? When does it set in with you? Uncle Gary calling back. Go ahead, Unc.
Yeah, man, once you said that 70% of the 1% tax money went into Ward 7.
Virgin Lindsay Ward.
70% of our tax dollars went into Virgil Lindsay's ward, and we are minding our business.
Minding our business. Ain't said nothing. I don't know how. I'm telling you, I don't know how it's possible. I don't know how a person sleeps at night. How do you sleep at night, man, and somebody robbing you? You ain't gonna wake up and do nothing. You sitting there, some folks sitting there got your wife held hostage, got your children held hostage, got your grandparents held hostage. You ain't gonna fight. You ain't gonna try to do nothing. You just gonna sit there and let the robbery take place.
We gotta wake our people up. You gotta keep sounding the horn, and we gotta bring what I think we gotta do, Polo, is we gotta bring our leadership, our pastors, and our warriors together. I'm not so much worried about that middle class in there because they're comfortable. But our pastors and our warriors got to come together, Polo, and they then going to have to speak the language and take the calls on behalf of the people. And that's why I'm glad they know that you out here doing that.
We just put 50 to 60,000 black people in Mississippi Memorial Stadium the last couple of days. Out of the black nightclubs, we're not going to see none of that money.
We can do it, Polo. We can do it. You know, leadership makes a difference, Polo. What happened 2 years ago, Jackson State couldn't put 10,000 people in the stadium. They couldn't put 10,000 in there. And now, 2 years later, they put 60,000 people in there.
Man,
that's leadership. One man can make a difference out here now.
Yeah, and we're not gonna see none of that hotel money. We ain't gonna see. We gonna see very little bit of that food industry money. We're not gonna see all of that, man. We just gave Jackson a financial steroid shot.
We did.
But the money left the moment we spent it.
Wow. That's too bad. We got to fix that. We got to fix the infrastructure around our economics where we channel that money into making it stay in Jackson. And Polo, that's why I even go back, and I know it's Sunday, but I know I go back and say the economic impact of that garbage contract when we talk about painters and welders and fuel distributors and tires and body shops and all of those things is how our money's got to turn over in our community. And we got to have black-owned hotels, and we got to have black-owned restaurants. And, Polo, it's a food desert out here. The black folks don't have nothing to eat in South Jackson, and we say nothing, Polo.
Let me tell you what I saw yesterday. It hurt me to my heart. Literally brought tears to my eyes. I came down Lynch. I rolled down Lynch on purpose, and then I went up Ellis. And I came back, I turned around, and I came back down McElvin. Both of those Joscos, you hear me, huh? They had so much, they had so many cars at them, man. Man, listen. You'd have thought they were giving gas away. You hear me? I go down to the other corner, Ellis and Lynch. Both of those Iranian gas stations had so many cars at them. It was unreal. I'm telling you, I don't know what was happening. But everywhere I looked at all of these Indian-owned gas stations, we was gathered at them buying gas, buying blunt wrappers and there. You know what they buying? Everything else. For to go celebrate a HBCU university. And neither one of those gas stations are going to contribute one dime to the African-American community, nor are they going to contribute one dime to JSU. Now, Nor will waste management. Nor will waste management. When I saw that, I realized that the enemy is right in front of us and we don't even see him. He has infiltrated us in such a way that, man, we'll go down there and hand our money over to Caesar.
In line, just marching it in there, Polo.
Man.
Just marching it in there. And when your city, African American City Council, don't come to the community and say that 70% of our money went into Virgil Lindsay's ward, there's something wrong with that. You had to break that story. I had no idea that was happening at that rate.
That's how much they got.
And our African American Council people are not raising hell.
They ain't raising hell about nothing. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Check for Cash was open yesterday. Title Loans was open yesterday. Now, you got to understand that them folks was open late yesterday on Saturday. Giving that money out to already poverty-stricken community so that they could go enjoy themselves for a weekend with a historical black university. I have to say it like this because you got to understand how diabolical it is. They gave money out at a 3% interest rate to black people to go celebrate a homecoming at a historical black university, and they not going to invest not one dime in their university or the people that they gave the money to. That is murder in the first degree.
It absolutely is. It's absolutely the worst kind because you're starving your people to death. You know, a quick death, a quick shot to the head is better than 50 your people. You're destroying everything. And what you were saying about the codes in our community, we used to be a nosy people, Polo, because Miss John and Mr. John over there was going to tear your butt up if they saw you doing something wrong and you was going to get towed up again. And now we got this silence out here where our children got to dumb down. They can't even show that they smart in school because they want to be accepted in our community. So they dumbing themselves down and holding themselves back. And then we're not promoting brilliance and excellence in our kids that way, Polo. And so we got a lot of work to do out here to turn this thing around, because if we don't turn around, as you say, we're in the fourth quarter, and this is a Holocaust moment.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know what we gonna do, but I know we got to do something. I know we've lined up to fight and to put it out. But I'm telling you, there's an old quote that says you can't teach on deaf ears, man. And I need our people to open their ears up, man, because this is serious business. This is serious business.
Be encouraged, Polo. There is a groundswell of support that's following what you're doing. and listening to you and saying that you guys keep doing it. We're getting a tremendous amount of calls, and we're beginning to wake the sleeping giant. We're beginning to wake the sleeping giant. The African American business people and church people coming together will make such a big difference in this community. Yeah. And so we got African American owned business, Polo, that's still hiding. Don't want anybody to know that they're African American owned because they feel like they won't get into business from our economic engines. So they say that they're a salesperson rather than the owner of the company. That's the shit that they had to do 50 years ago, Polo. And so we got a groundswell that's moving, but we got a lot of work to do, partner.
Yeah, we do, and you're right. We are getting some work to do. Matter of fact, I spoke a couple of weeks ago with famous retired rapper Kool Mo D, and he has some stuff going on, and another rapper, and so these people, man, this cry for economic empowerment is monumental, and it's not just here in Jackson, Mississippi, though. I think we are shortcutting ourselves because the cry is nationwide. It's a nationwide issue. The poverty that is complex in African American people, and then the crime that is a direct correlation that we're starting to see. That is a direct correlation to the problem, I guess now.
It always has been. People with jobs and people with money in their pocket don't rob nobody.
No, ain't got time.
They don't hit nobody.
You ain't got time. You too tired.
You ain't got that. But people that don't have nothing to eat at the house and their mother can't get their medicine, they out of their high blood pressure medicine and can't get no more. But well, they gonna do something. They gonna do something crazy. And so we know that economics is the root cause. The lack of economics is the root cause of everything bad in our community. And Polo, even Jesus, when he gave out the talents, when he came back and the man that had grew his, doubled his, he rewarded them. Those people that don't do anything with the talents, even Jesus was unhappy with them when they returned. And our people got to start investing in our community and investing in our people. And I appreciate what you're doing. So, but be encouraged, my brother. Be encouraged.
Man. Appreciate you.
All right, take care.
Take care. Once again, y'all, Mr. Socrates Garrett. Hey, man, we getting about to wrap it up. About 5 minutes here left on WMPR 90.1 100,000 watt station. Critical conversation brought to you, man, 7 days a week now, through Socrates Garrett, Dwayne Pickett, and myself. Thanks once again to the staff over here at WMPR 90.1, Wanda Evans and Mr. Sheriff, for penciling out critical time so that you, this listening audience, can get quality content radio. I don't think y'all get it, man. I'm telling you. I listen to a lot of talk radio. Not much in this city. Most of it's outside this state and this city. But you don't get it nowhere else. You're not getting that. And then WMPR is on the internet, so you can log on. You can get it anytime, anywhere. And people, these are the conversations that we gotta have. That's why they're called critical conversations. This is the fourth quarter of African American economics. We must drive this cart home. All right, and through our churches, through our schools, through our lay people, through our activists, people are going to be held accountable, teachers are going to be held accountable, activists are going to be held accountable, mayors and supervisors. This whole community is going to be held at a different standard. Yes, it's going to take some pushing to get it done. It's going to take some churches, as Sock said, some warriors coming together. And it's going to also take the education of our young people, because I think a lot of times our young people do not really understand. This last 20 years of young people have lived in such a comfortability. They haven't, outside COVID, they never really experienced any problems. And so young people we have to get back to teaching young people the struggles and the sacrifices that have went before them, long before them, so that they're in the position that they're in now. All right? And that has to be stressed throughout this community. And so parents, grandparents, let's get back to those basic conversations with our young people, whether it's at the dinner table, whether it's at the car when you're picking them up from school, or wherever it might be. We must return to those conversations of reminding them that struggles have been made, sacrifices have been made, bridges that we have overcome to get them to where they're at. People have died, they have bled, they have been taken away from their families so that they have the right to vote. But not only that they have the right to vote, but they also have the right to hold elected officials accountable. They have a right to demand change in their community. They have a right to have quality banking. They have a right to have good schools. They have a right to have parks that they can go to and play in and not have to worry about being gunned down by high artillery style weapons. Black folks, that's a right. That's not a foreign. That's a right. And it's time that this African American community demand that right. We ought to be able to go out there to the now dried up Lake Hyco and redevelop that place so that African American children and family can have a place to go and do things and experience things. Young African American boys can go out there and bait a hook and fish and learn how to fish and clean fishing. Families can go out there in their boats and be proud of their accomplishments. That's something we ought to have. We shouldn't be asking folks to, we shouldn't have to be scared to go up on the reservoir. Come on, black people. Some of y'all scared to drive up on the reservoir because you know your business ain't in order. And you know you're going to get pulled over when you get up there and you know you're going to jail. So you ought to be creating your own place for you to have your comfortability in. And, you know, so we can rewind. Listen, man, keep it locked right here to 90.1 WMPR, the 100,000 watt station, man. We'll be back tomorrow morning, I think it is, from 8 to 9, as well as a Pick and Polo show coming up that same night on the We Believe Digital Podcast Studio. All right? 9 to 10. All right, so it's 9 to 10 tomorrow morning, and I think that'll put all three of us in the building, me, Socrates, Gary, as well as Pastor Dwayne Pickett. See y'all back here tomorrow morning, man, at 9 o'clock. Until then, keep it locked right here to WMPR 90.1, your 100,000 watt station. I'm out.
The views on the preceding show does not represent those of radio station WMPR's management, staff, or its underwriters.